Baruch Levi B here from Soul Centered. Soul Centered is a spiritual center for meaning, purpose, and healing in the afternoon of life. And that's what Ariella, my wife, and I do. She's a healer, I'm a guide, and we walk people through the afternoon of life, midlife and onwards, to find meaning and purpose and healing, because there's no better time to find it than midlife and onwards. I want to talk today about struggle and suffering, or as we say in Yiddish, wrapped up in two little English letters, O-Y. Oi. I don't think there's a better word ever to describe the experience of struggle, of difficulty, of suffering, a whole range of emotions there wrapped up in those two little words, oi, right? Onomatopoeia. It just is what it sounds like. Oi. Is there a better word? Yiddish is amazing for telling dirty jokes and for complaining. So that's a whole other conversation. But I take this word very seriously. Yes, sometimes it's just another good word, kvetching, complaining, but oftentimes it's profound struggle and suffering. Right now, we live in a world of oi, and you know that. You are experiencing it. Turn on social media, turn on the news, right? Talk to anybody out there, and it's environmental disasters and it's economic chaos and turmoil and social upheaval and political oi. I mean, the list goes on and on. That's not even personal oi. That's just collective oi that impacts all of us personally. I want to talk today about transforming oi through the power of joy. Here's the deal, right? I've counseled thousands of people through all of life's darkness, every single kind of darkness imaginable. I've done that for 20 years. And here's what I know to be true, that no matter how dark or difficult or painful or suffering filled your situation or the world might be, there are always sparks of possibility, of purpose, of meaning, of light waiting to be discovered in the darkness. It is a universal principle. It is always true. It may not be true at all times when you're going through it, but the truth is always there, waiting to be realized. It's almost blasphemous to say that these days. I know. I have clients who I talk to all day, every day. Well, I don't talk to them all day, every day, but I have clients all day, and they all are saying the same thing, right? They are saying that they are feeling oi, like they never have before in their life, and yet, almost apologetically, they'll talk to me about the good things, the good times, the happiness, their business has never been better for some of them, or their health is amazing, or their child is getting married and everything is flowing. And yeah, there's lots and lots of darkness out there, and they feel bad about saying it. But what I tell them is you shouldn't feel bad about saying it. Of course, you shouldn't rub it in somebody's face, but their darkness is not mitigated or eliminated because of your joy. You're not diminishing it, certainly. They're still feeling it. Now, if you want to help them, then feel your joy. Find your joy, embrace your joy, and share your joy. Again, do it in a way that honors where somebody else is. There's this great principle in Jewish law. When you go visit somebody who's mourning a loved one, you're not allowed to talk to them until they initiate the conversation. And if they want to talk about sports, you talk about sports. If they want to talk about the weather, you talk about the weather. If they want to talk about their dead grandmother, you talk about their dead grandmother. You mirror them, and you slowly and gently and compassionately help them ascend out of their darkness. You don't go in and start preaching the light and telling them about your light and telling them to get out of their darkness and into the light. That's their journey. But you don't help them by denying your light, by denying your laughter and your joy. I draw this wisdom from my teacher and mentor, Dr. Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, father of logotherapy, meaning-centered therapy, of which I'm a practitioner. Dr. Frankl, in addition to Man's Search for Meaning, wrote 30-some other odd books on logotherapy, his psychotherapeutic practice. But it was really born before the Holocaust and proved out in the Holocaust. He lived this in the concentration camp, in fact, 4 concentration camps. And he talks about the power of finding beauty, not in spite of the darkness, but because of it, in finding humor, in creating humor, of all places in the concentration camps. He writes, The attempt to develop a sense of humor and to see things in a humorous light is some kind of a trick learned while mastering the art of living. It is possible to practice this art of living, right? To find light in the darkness, even in concentration camps. Even though suffering is omnipresent, he says there is always light waiting to be discovered. And one of the ways we do that is through laughter and humor and joy. There's nothing wrong with finding humor during dark times. In fact, there's everything right. According to Dr. Frankl, he says elsewhere that humor is the soul's weapon against the darkness. It's one of the ways we not only keep the darkness out, but when it is there, we can transform our darkness or the darkness of other people through laughter and humor and joy. Humor is, according to Frankl, a divine attribute. We think of it as a human quality. He says it's uniquely human, right? No other life forms tell jokes, create, opportunities for laughter. And this thing called humor is a divine pathway. He calls it the noetic, but a spiritual pathway into our spirit, the deeper or deepest part of who we are as human beings and as divine beings. So really rethinking laughter and humor and joy, not just as something to happen circumstance. If it just happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But to go out looking for it, to go out seeking it, and to go out and to become a conduit of it. I know that in the darkest of times, there is always light waiting to be discovered. I wrote a book called Spark Seekers, taken from this Kabbalistic idea that in the darkness await the sparks. And our mission as human beings is to go into the darkness and find those sparks, take hold of them, and bring them into the world, releasing them. That's how we illuminate darkness. One of the pathways is through joy. So I encourage all of you that if you are feeling joy, don't feel bad about it. Don't deny it. Don't hide it. Don't run from it. Don't qualify it. Don't apologize for it. Take it and embrace it and feel it and love it and live it and share it. Of course, in a way that can be received by others, but in a world of oi, now more than ever, people need joy. They need your joy. You need joy. That's how we defy the oi. Would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email. Be at mysoulcentered.org, or you can Google My Soul Centered and you can get our website. You can hear the latest podcast on this. You can read the latest blog on this idea. Share with a friend. Would love to hear from you. Take care. Until next time, shalom, salam, peace, namaste. Get out there and find your joy and get rid of way too much oi.